Hello, well, welcome back to PUCL's PDL 2025 PUCL Draft League 9 for the final match of the first pod with me, GigaSaurusGames, playing against Erny this week. And the prep doc looks like this. And Erny's team actually, so I'm currently 3-0, which with the way the matchmaking for the second half of the season works means I actually really want to win this because I'd much rather be in the be in the winning pool 4-0 than 3-1, because 3-1 with a currently plus something high plus differential. I like minimum at 3-1 plus 5, which definitely feels like possible to end up in the top pool, which is not my preference. So I do really want to win this, but the reality is that Ernie's team actually kind of worries me. It does cause me some problems. It's very bulky, which does slow down my team with how I've been playing it this season. I did briefly think about running a bulkier team, but I think I just stick with what my team does and hit hard and try to kill things. Especially because I do have pretty good type coverage matchup against that team, especially Mega Diancie can hit that entire team neutrally with just its dual stab, I'm pretty sure. And then can run Earth Power to make sure King Gambit dies. So my plan, and here's what my team builder looks like, is try to get Mega Diancie in a situation where it has a +1 calm, where it gets 1 Calm Mind off with Dondozo at half health. Remember, Dondozo has and will almost certainly bring Unaware, so it will be immune to stat changes or opposing stat changes. But if I can get Dondozo down to half health, Moonblast kills physically defensive Dondozo from half health, and I can do that with Sandy Shocks, Thunderbolt, or Flapple, Grab Apple, or Rotomo, Leaf Storm. And if that happens, then I think Diancie can do a number. Sandy Shocks also hits quite hard, but hits the entire team neutrally with 3 moves, and super effective most of them for that matter. It's also going to be a Stealth Rocker as a result, because I'm going to run Booster Energy, so I'm not going to be Volt switching out probably. Sandy Shocks will probably stay in until it dies. Flapple, I'm going to run Adamant this week, because the only thing I really care about that might run some speed, try out speed of Flapple, would be Scorch. And I decided I don't care enough to try and outspeed a Scorch if it does come, because I think Scorch can just kind of be set up on by Diancie anyway. And so I just hit the things that I want to kill, Mudsdale, Dondozo, really hard instead, because those things have really high defense, so it is kind of hard to kill them with Grab Apple, even with Choice Band Hustle. But to help set up, Rotomo's going to have dual screens. After breaking, King Gambit can go ahead and clean up. It has a Lumberry again in case of Will-O-Wisp Dragapult. Lumberry Kowtow Cleave beats pretty much every Dragapult. And we have Hitmontop, because Ernie's team also has a King Gambit. King Gambit, as I've shown in my matches, is scary. Hitmontop pretty much neutralizes every meaningful King Gambit. Frankly, even if it's Choppleberry, probably. So that's the plan. So we are just waiting for Ernie to send the challenge, and we will be underway with the last match of the first half of the Green Pod. Incidentally, this is going to be the second match where my opponent's forced to bring a Dragapult. I was sorted into a color pod where the required mons were Dragapult, Tornadus, Hydrapple, Flapple. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good about being 3-0 plus 11, I think, despite having to bring Flapple every week. And of course, in my last match, Flapple also did work, so maybe it'll do work again. Although I think it won't catch my opponent off guard a second time. Just waiting for a challenge. In terms of things that might run Adamant over Jolly. That Flapple could hope maybe outspeed if I ran Jolly. The big one would be only real thing at that speed tier is Tapu Fini, and it's not like Tapu Fini is a good matchup anyway. And honestly, I feel like Tapu Fini probably runs Timid specifically to make sure it does outspeed Flapple. Truthfully. And I suppose we will be back when the match starts. And here we Nactex draft PDL 25 Erny, go! Alright, so how well does this match up against what I was predicting? Didn't expect Zoro, didn't expect Carbank. And, well, Carbank came. I think that's actually good for me. I think Carbank's something I can set up on. The rest of that, more or less, was expected. Among Us, Morgrim, and Carbank are the Terra captain. So, Carbank is Terra. It's probably going to be Terra Steel, would be my feeling. Not sure what else I have to say. Not sure anything else that particularly surprises me. Dondozo I did expect to come, since I have Dancing King Game on my team. So, see, I think with this lineup, and Zapdos feels like a likely lead, so does Carbank. So does Dragapult. With those possibilities, I like Rotom lead. I can Volt Switch. Okay, yep, there we go. We can figure out what kind of Dragapult this is here. Set screens. I think I'll do that. Okay, that's scary. So is that. I'm gonna go Diancie. We're gonna not Mega, because I have higher defenses in this form. Alright, here comes Phantom Force. Phantom Force, huh? Let's go into Flapple. I think I'm going to take it after Reflect. I am wrong. I am so very wrong. Okay, fair enough. Let's find out how stuff works. I don't know how Phantom Force interacts with Sucker Punch, actually. Well, so Flapple's gone. I really wanted it from Mudsdale, but Mudsdale didn't come. I think it's fine. And I think Health on King Gambit is better. Okay. This is fine. And I go for Kowtow Cleave, because I think it's going to use Sucker Punch. I think it's going to try and use Sub here. Yep. Double damage from Dragon Darks. Still doesn't kill. I'm not letting him get a free sub. I cannot allow that to happen. Zapdos is static. And gets it. But I have Lumberry, so it's fine. And that Dragapult probably doesn't have Will-O-Wisps. Actually, we know it doesn't have Will-O-Wisps, so... This is an acceptable world line. Sandy Shocks is a good switch into Zapdos for now, and... This is a fine time to use my Booster Energy, I think. No ground type came, so I can Thunderbolt freely. And Dragapult knows it isn't safe because I have booster speed. There is no good switch in here to Thunderbolt. So now I think my opponent has a problem to handle. So I handle the Dragapult for now, and I now know what it wants to do. So that's scary, but the Reflect did save me for the moment. Gonna have to be careful with that. Careful with that, though. Oh, I was not expecting Dragon Dance Dragapult. That was definitely something. I kind of wonder if Erny saw my previous matches. That does sort of feel like something that might have been designed to handle how much speed I often brought on this Sandy Shocks in particular. With considering that I have run Terra Ice before. Okay. I'm not scared of you. I'll just Earth Power and see what you do. You want to go right back into Zapdos, so just... Goodbye, Carp. Goodbye... Well, okay. I wasn't sure it would kill, because Thunderbolt only did 34%. Well, and double that is 70%. It's possible that was a roll, but... That finished off Carbink. I kind of wondered what it was trying to avoid Terra Fire. Because I'm an electric ground type. So, my having Earth Power is reasonable as coverage. So, I'm not quite sure what the plan there was, because it certainly doesn't help against Thunderbolt. It basically helps against Terra Ice. Well, okay, and maybe... I have run Flash Cannon before. It could have been avoiding Flash Cannon. But I am just running Earth Power in this situation. So... that worked out. Sandy Shocks is still in a good position, still at full health. There's a Tapu Fini, I Thunderbolt it. Even if it's Choice Scarf, I outspeed. Crit, I suspect mattered, but it's gone. Let's see, I'll run that calc here. Did that crit matter? Yeah, that crit mattered. Depending on exact set, that crit probably almost certainly mattered. The standard Nat Dex Calm Mind set with no special defense investment has a 2/3 chance to be OHKO'd by a crit Thunderbolt, so it certainly doesn't die to a non-crit. So that crit probably mattered. It sounded like something came in, Kingambit came in. I just Earth Power it, I take a Sucker Punch here, and that's fine. It doesn't kill, I didn't think it would. Do I still want Sandy Shocks alive? I think I do. Because it's still a good answer for Zapdos. Still hits Dondozo hard. Even if it no longer outspeeds Dragapult. So we're just going to go and hit him on top here. I don't think King Gambit stays in. I think it almost certainly goes to Dragapult. Let's triple Axle. King Gambit does not scare me in any way. Okay, well this will kill Zapdos, so I'll almost certainly get staticked. Oh, I didn't. Cool. I guess Zapdos does also make sense to switch in there, huh? Alright, we have Dondozo. I go into Rotom. I go for Reflect. So I no longer care about my Lumberry. Everything that was going to status is done statusing. I will Volt Switch. That did a good chunk. I'm going to go into Diancie. Moonblast should kill from this range. Especially after that, I think. I'm glad I had the Reflect up. That wave, I wasn't expecting wave crash. Switch to Wave Crash there. Depends what kind of set this Dondozo has. If it's running Body Press, it's probably physically defensive. If it's running Wave Crash, I bet it's not running a ton of HP. If this is like max defense, no HP, it kills Dondozo. Okay, max HP, I think that was a roll. But if it's not max HP, I don't think that was a roll. Alright, Dragapult cannot sit up in front of a Mega Diancie. King Gambit cannot break through Diancie with Sucker Punch, and... Okay. Certainly not behind Reflect anyway. I'm going to Earth Power. Just to make... Because I didn't want to double-check the calc on Moonblast, and... Yeah. And yeah, GG. Dragapult cannot sit up in this situation. It can kill me if it wants. But I go into King Gambit. Again, it can't set up in this situation. I have Kowtow Cleave. We already know it can't kill me with any meaningful attack. As long as it can't set up, King Gambit was good. As long as it had this amount of health coming in. Alright! And we have actually won the first pod in Puckle's PDL 2025 with a 4-0 sweep and I think a plus 15 differential. Thanks to King Gambit, Mega Diancie once again, more or less. Though Sandy Shocks also and Hitmontop also very much did their part, as did Rotom's Reflect in front of Dondozo. So I actually think the team worked exactly as intended. So I'm quite pleased with my prep this week because it felt like everything held together. And my opponent is saying they didn't know how to prep for Rotom Mow. No, I was quite scared when Dragapult started setting up on it. It's interesting. I've had multiple opponents note they're actually quite scared of Rotom Mow. I mean, I kind of don't think I'm doing very interesting things with it. I'm kind of just using Volt Switch and Leaf Storm a lot. And yeah, my opponent also knows the crit in Tapu Fini was a real problem. If I'd thought about it, I maybe even should have hit my Terra Ice there to try and live a hit, since I wasn't supposed to kill. But the Thunderbolt crit made it not matter. But the point is, good game, Erny. I was actually quite scared at several points in that match. Things could have gone south very, very quickly against that Dragvolt or against Tapu Fini. If Tapu Fini lives there, it has around 30% health. I don't know what happens from there. But overall, I am content with how things worked out. So, I don't know if there's anything else to say. I'll probably cut this part short in the final video. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed. And until the next cycle of 4 weeks, I have been GigaSaurusGames. We'll see who else is in the top winning pod. Signing out. Bye.